So and I don't want this to be true, but I feel like Dan Snyder and the owners threw John Gruden to the wolves regarding his email leaks to save Dan Snyder's own ass. Because let's not keep it clear, Dan Snyder is still being sued by all these cheerleaders. He is still being investigated. And the fact they put John Gruden out there means that A, somebody wanted him gone, and B, they're doing it to protect Dan Snyder, because Dan Snyder workplace misconduct, you know, that bombshell article that dropped about them pimping their own cheerleaders that came out to be true. Yeah, if those emails ever leaked, ever saw the light of day, not only would he be forced to sell the team, but just think about it. If Dan Snyder was doing all this, you mean to tell me the other owners didn't know what he was doing? Nobody knew what he was doing? All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Juju the Gamer on Juju Sports Corner, and today, by the time you're seeing this, it might be Thursday, because I want to have some space between the videos, let the video breathe. But I'm recording this. It's now after midnight on Wednesday. So about a couple months ago, I believe it was late October. It was right after those John Gruden emails leaked, when the NFL basically came out and said, we are investigating the Washington football team. We had found all these emails regarding John Gruden, and it was over 600,000 emails, but they never released any of the emails that was pertaining to the actual topic of the investigation, which is the Washington football team and Dan Snyder. And I had titled that video, as you all saw on my main channel, which is Juju the Gamer Reacts. I had titled that video basically, did the NFL cast John Gruden to the wolves to save Dan Snyder? And what I meant by that title is, did the NFL basically sacrifice John Gruden so that they won't have to be forced to basically make Dan Snyder sell his team and sell all of his ownership. The reason why I'm even bringing this up is because literally about 10 minutes ago, I saw a post on Twitter from the Washington Post stating that Dan Snyder, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking directly at my phone. So I'm not ignoring y'all. I'm looking directly at my phone. Saying that the Washington football team's owner pledged support for the NFL's investigations. However, his actions tell a different story. So I'm gonna kind of skim through this. Let's see what all. He said, despite the owner's public pledge to cooperate with all aspects of the investigation, his attorneys attempted to prevent Wilkinson from speaking to one of the accusers, according to a letter and the woman's attorney wrote to Snyder's lawyer that was filed in court. This woman that accused Snyder of probably sexual harassment or sexual assault was the one that he paid $1.6 million to back in 2009 when the cheerleading scandal really was that 2009 about the cheerleading scandal? No, it was a part of the cheerleading scandal. It was a twofold scandal. So he had basically paid this woman. He settled out of court, basically. The issue is, said woman wanted to talk to the person that was in charge of the investigation of all the emails, you know, to let her know that, no, this is what was really going on within the workforce. And it's saying that Wilkinson, you know, once they took over the investigation, tried to talk to her, but Dan Snyder was literally blocking interview requests. He was blocking the interview. Well, he was denying interview requests to be interviewed by Wilkinson, but he was also blocking the woman that accused him of interviewing as well, as per of NDA, which I don't think had something to do with this. But not only was he trying to block her from speaking out in the investigation, he was also sending agents to her house to intimidate her. Not just her, but other workers that used to work in the Washington football team's department. So he was trying to intimidate everybody. He was doing literally everything in his power. Literally everything in his power to not get scrutinized, to not be a public relations mess, to not be basically be discovered as the scum of the earth. So basically he tried to hide all his dirt. But see, the thing is in doing this, because he's in Washington, Congress is now getting involved. Congress basically said the NFL was not cooperating with their request to turn over the rest of the emails. They're starting to take matters into their own hands. And when you know Congress gets involved, it's serious. It's serious. It's a pretty big deal when Congress gets involved. When Congress gets involved, when you're doing dirt, you might as well kiss all your freedom goodbye, because you're not going to get away from Congress. You're just not going to get away from Congress. So this is an excerpt of the article. It said, while Snyder publicly expressed shock over allegations raised in a Post story that prompted Wilkinson's investigation, his lawyers filed petitions in federal court seeking in part to identify former employees who had spoken to the Post, an effort one federal judge suggested was intended to burden and harass former employees who had spoke to reporters. Bam. 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 How did the NFL not know he was doing this? How did Roger Goodell and company not know he was doing this? You mean to tell me he was hiring investigators and agents and having lawyers do dirty work to try and find people that used to work for him under the Washington football team so he could harass them so they wouldn't speak in the investigation? You mean to tell me the NFL had no knowledge of him doing this? That these weren't in the emails? That they would just turn a blind eye to all of this? Right. I'm not buying that, bro. I'm not buying that. Like I said in the last video, the NFL was trying to protect Dan Snyder by ousting Jon Gruden. They was trying to protect Dan Snyder by ousting Jon Gruden. But see, the thing is, Dan Snyder's apparently done so much dirt. He has apparently done so much dirt. There is no more hiding from it. He is done. He is toast. When it all comes out, he is toast. He is finito. He is finished. So this is another excerpt. And after Snyder's lawyers learned that the 2009 Accusers still intended to speak to Wilkinson, despite what her attorney alleged was an effort to prevent her from speaking to the NFL's investigator, they provided support for a lawsuit filed against Wilkinson by the team's retired former general counsel. That lawsuit sought to bar Wilkinson from discussing the 2009 allegations against Snyder with NFL officials and to force her to destroy documents relating to the woman's allegations. Dan Snyder, bro, this dude is slimy, bro. So Wilkinson ultimately did interview Snyder's accuser according to court records, but the revelation that Snyder was accused of trying to block a witness from participating in the NFL's investigation raises new concerns about Commissioner Roger Goodell's decision to keep confidential any report or investigative findings produced by Wilkinson. a departure from how the league has handled investigations in recent years. Spygate, Deflategate, Jerry Richardson, other investigations that they all had public record of, but for some reason they didn't want anything released about this. The NFL decided to hide all the emails and to bury the evidence about this certain case. Right, and the NFL is trying to excuse my language, but bullshit their way. Congress truly forcing their hand and forcing them to release all the emails, and it's not going to end well for the NFL. It's not going to end well for Roger Goodell, and it's not going to end well for Dan Snyder. But the first step is probably going to be Dan Snyder is probably going to be forced to sell his team, most likely to Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos said he's wanted an NFL team. So this is just a recent update, but like I said earlier, the NFL tried to protect Dan Snyder, and it's going to bite them in the ass because Congress is going to get involved, and more reports like this are going to come out, and Dan Snyder is eventually going to be forced to sell his team. But if you made it this far, please make sure that you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell notification so you're notified every single time I upload. I will be putting a link to this article in the description below. Let me just make sure that so I will be putting this description, putting the article link so y'all can read it on your own in the description below. But like I said, I'm Juju Gamer. I'm signing out. See you on the next video. Peace.